Well, hello guys, how are you today? Hope you guys are good. And today we're going to talk about punctuation. And I know punctuation is something that we can think about. Oh, I read every day, I see lots of things. I know how to use punctuation. It's just a dot, just a circle. And but actually, let me show you how a world with no punctuation is. Take a look at this text and keep in mind that sometimes when we write, if we write and if we don't check what we are writing, we may be writing things like this. I'm going to read this with no punctuation, okay? Okay, so let's go. She's a good, beautiful young girl. I like her very much, and she has a dog too. Her dog is white fur, small and beautiful. And one day I told her, "Do you like dogs?" And she said, "Yes, I like dogs. That's all for today. Bye bye." Man, really? I mean, can we organize? This text is so unorganized and we can't understand anything. So, when does the question start? When does the sentence start? Um, where is the capital letter? So this is all messed up. Remember that the punctuation is what's going to show you the rhythm of the text. If you need to separate ideas, if you need to put ideas together, if you need to make a list of ideas or any type of the message, we always need to use punctuation. Punctuation helps us to organize the texts, all right? So I organized this and take a look at this version of the text. I'm going to read this now. She's a good, beautiful, and young girl. I like her very much. She has a dog too. Her dog is white, funny, small, and beautiful. One day I told her, "Do you like dogs?" She said, "Yes, I like dogs. That's all for today. Bye bye." See the difference? And I mean, it's much more beautiful when you look at a text that is organized like this. But we have here the punctuation being used to show the ideas, to separate the ideas, so we don't get lost, and it's better for us to read and to understand what is written. All right. So what we're gonna check today is some aspects or some types of punctuation that we have to use in our texts pretty much every day. And remember that I know many of you are doing activities online and you have to write on Google Classroom, Google Forms. When we write on the computer, we still have to use punctuation, okay? Because if you're not using punctuation, your text is like the other text I was reading here, all right? Okay, so anyway, so let's check the first punctuation we're going to check here. We're going to see the period, and the period is the final dot, so the final stop, when a sentence ends. And this is, I think this is the easiest one, so I put an example here. It is a sunny day. If that's the end of your sentence, you have to put a period there. Okay, I know that I didn't put a period here, the final dot when a sentence ends. So compare my sentence and the example. It's so different. So remember to use the period at all times. And here I put a circle so we remember it. Then we have the comma, and the comma is here between parentheses. So we use a comma to separate a list of words, or we use a comma to separate time or places when a sentence is out of order. And here we can think, all right, the idea of the list of words is easy. So this is an example. We need paper, pencils, erasers, and money. See, we have like a list of things, and we use the commas to separate the items one by one, and only in the last item we use the word and. This is the same as Portuguese, pretty much. But we can also use it to separate time or places when a sentence is out of order. And what is a sentence that is out of order? Take a look at this sentence here. I study English at school in the morning. This sentence is pretty normal, right? We have the person, I, the action, study, what the person is doing, so he's studying English, and then we have the place at school, and then we have the time, in the morning. Beautiful. But I can always try to write this sentence trying to emphasize, enfatizar, to show something, to show someone that I am talking about the place or the time. Take a look at the second version of this. So first, yeah, let me put here. At school is time, and in the morning is place. I put it wrong. Anyway, I'm just going to correct. So at school is the place, and in the morning is the time. Okay, so we have these two parts of the sentence showing this idea. I can write this sentence like this. In the morning, I study English at school. See that I put in the morning in the beginning of my sentence. It's because I am trying to show that, first of all, we need to think about the time. So because of that, I put the time in the beginning of the sentence, and I took it out of the order. It's not in the order of I study English at school in the morning. If I take it out of the order, I have to use a comma. If I want to start this sentence using at school, it's going to be the same thing. At school, I study English in the morning. And if you pay attention, every time I write to you on Google Classroom, I do this. So today, comma, we are going to talk about, I don't know, a short story. Or I write things like this. In this class, in this lesson, comma, we are going to see. So every time we change the order, we use a comma. And this is a very beautiful way of separating and organizing ideas. So think about it. Just think about it with your heart, because this is very important. The second, and now we're going to have the different types of punctuation. We are going to talk about the colon. And some people say the two dots, the two periods. The right name for this is colon, okay? And this is used to show that somebody is going to speak about something or to show that an explanation is going to be shown. So let's take a look at the examples. And then she said, this teacher is nice. So see, we have the column because the column is separating the normal sentence and it's showing that some type of explanation is going to appear. And the explanation for the first sentence is what she was saying, what she was talking about. Makes sense, right? Another example, they talked about many things. So I want to know what they were talking about. So they talked about many things. I use the column to show that I am going to explain and use different examples of the many things they were talking about. So they talked about many things. Column. Money, comma, because I have a list, right? Time and school. See here, I just separated and organized all the ideas I had using a column and commas. This is so beautiful. Anyway, then we have quotes, and quotes is this, like these two commas, essas duas vírgulas voando, they are flying, and we use this when we are showing what a person said. For example, then he said, ELA is the best class. So see, this is a guy, this is a good student, he has a good taste, ELA is the best class. And this was another person who was saying. So that's why I have to use quotes to show that this sentence is not my sentence. It's a sentence somebody else said. Check the second example. After the class, comma, and olha que bonito, look how beautiful. I am using the comma here because I started the sentence using a time. So you could say, she said after the class. She said after the class is a sentence in the direct order. But if I take it out of order, after the class, comma, she said, I have to use the comma to show, to help organizing the idea. So after the class, she said, yes, I love ELA. So see, this is another very good student that knows that ELA is the best class. But anyway, we can talk about this after. And so quotes is that's the use we're gonna have for quotes. We're gonna have the semicolon. And some people speak this, they don't pronounce semicolon. Some people say semicolon. Both ways are correct, okay? So if you see this somewhere or somebody else speaking, that can be another pronunciation too. We use this to stop the text in a long sentence or instruction. And, usually the semicolon is not very used, but it's important for us to check because we are reading a lot and sometimes it may appear. This is a good example for the use of semicolons or semicolons. She was very happy, and then you have a semicolon. Nothing in the world could stop her happiness. See that this sentence is very long. I could divide the sentence, I could organize using a period. She was very happy, period. Nothing in the world could stop her happiness. But I want to show that she was so happy that other things were happening too. And see, the sentence would be so big, so long that I decided I can stop it. But I don't want to stop the idea here. I want to continue this idea a little bit. This is a case, but this is very hard for us to see. I think the second example here, see I have number 1 and 2, these are instructions for something. And probably you're going to see that when I write the instructions on Google Classroom, I use this. So first, read the text, semicolon, and I use a semicolon because this is not the last thing, okay? The second thing is the last. Answer the questions, period. Because here I am showing that I don't have any other instruction after. All the instructions I have are already here. This is so beautiful, right? And for us to finish, I have the apostrophe. And the apostrophe is not apóstolo, apóstrofo. So, I mean, people like to make funny jokes with this, but the apostrophe is the flying comma. É como se fosse uma vírgula que fica voando. And we use this in many words. We use this usually. And then I'm going to read the examples I have here. A contraction is made between a person and a type of verb. So take a look at these sentences. I am at home, I'm at home, I am at home. You can take the I and the am and put them together, but to show that you put them together, that you made a contraction, you have to use the apostrophe. She will play, we'd stay home, we would stay home. He's playing soccer, he is playing soccer. The pronunciation for most of them is pretty much the same. He's playing soccer, he's playing soccer. See, it's very hard to take. I think the third sentence, we'd stay home, we would stay home, is a good example that shows that the pronunciation changes. But in the other cases, it doesn't change. It's pretty much pretty similar to the original sentence. And we can have another case, that is when somebody has something. And I think we had a class about this, not sure, maybe last month. But see here. My brother's car, the car of my brother, my brother's car. My sister's friend, the friend of my sister. My teacher's book, the book of my teacher. So see that the apostrophe S is there just to show that somebody has an object. Make sense? And remember, when you make the plural of words, the boy, the boys, the girl, the girls, we can't use the apostrophe, alright? Remember this, for Christ's sake, pelo amor de Deus, não façam isso comigo. We have to always put just the S. The apostrophe is used when somebody has something or when you are making a contraction between the person and the type of the verb. Beautiful, right? Guys, I think that's all for today. And just when you write, even if it's on the internet, on the cell phone, always pay attention to your punctuation. Punctuation helps to organize, and punctuation helps to, separate ideas. So please, please, please take care with it. Okay? So I'll see you guys after, and I hope you all have a great class today. Bye-bye.